Welcome everyone to the House of More Politics. To me, this is a very sad day in politics, and it's a very sad day for our nation as a whole. Today in Chicago, Donald Trump was supposed to hold a rally, but in the midst of finding out from his story is that he found out from the local police that there were going to be some protesters at his rallies, and hey, you're going to always have protesters at rallies, and he's been infamous with dispatching or breaking up the protesters at his rally. Just the other day, we saw this 70-something-year-old man elbow this black guy in the eye on his way out of one of his rallies. And Donald Trump egged the crowd on as far as saying, get him out, get him out, get him out. When the black guy was hit, the police took him down. Luckily, he wasn't arrested, and luckily, he wasn't shot. And thankfully, the 78-year-old guy or 70-something-year-old guy was arrested. And right now, he's been held on a $2,600 bond. But today in Chicago, there was a rally that was supposed to be held. But because of the so-called threats that were potentially brewing, Donald Trump decided to cancel the rally. Well, when a man got up and spoke about canceling the rally and everybody should go home and be safe, that's when, for the most part, all hell broke loose. You got people that are saying Trump equals hate, as indicated by the sign right now. You had people with signs saying we're talking about deportation and immigration. You had people trying to get on stage, as what you saw earlier. I don't know. I'm not sure if they were trying to calm the protesters down, or if they were just trying to get up there just to show their asses. I don't know. But if you take a look, you got people. Well, first of all, everybody's videotaping, and you got people upset and shouting their beliefs, whether they are religious beliefs, cultural belief, racial beliefs. You got the Trump supporters. Of course, they're going to defend Trump and what they believe. And you got the protesters who are against Trump and what he believes, shouting what they feel and what they believe. So, and you got this mix, and it's very contentious. But I have no notes right now. I'm watching the video as I talk, and I got to say, it's a sad day. Now, I'm all for Donald Trump as far as bringing people together. He's unifying the Republican Party. He's bringing people out to vote that never voted before. I get that. But I think he's doing it in a very, very wrong, divisive way. And this is not what America needs. In 2008, then Senator Barack Obama did the same thing. He brought this country together. And you can argue that all you want. You can say, okay, well, the Democrats did it on their side. He brought Democrats out to vote. Yes, in fact, he did. But I would also say that he brought Republicans out to vote too. Now, whether those Republicans voted for Barack Obama or voted against him, he brought them out. Okay? And it was never anything like what I'm seeing right now. You know, this rhetoric of make America great again, take our country back. It slaps of racism. It slaps of indifference. I mean, it to me is sickening. It's disgusting. Now, you saw earlier this white guy being escorted off the podium. Take a look at this. And I'm pretty sure this black guy is just voicing his opinion, saying no Trump. Now, yes, maybe he did it in a immature fashion. Maybe that can be debated. But I right now, I do not understand what Donald Trump's end game is, other than getting the White House. This is not making America great again. And I would go so far as to say, hasn't America always been great? Now I will give you this. We have not been number one in anything for a while. We're not number one in education. We're not number one in in our school system. We're not number one in our healthcare system. We're not number one in a lot of things. We are number one in our defense spending. We are number one in debt. So yes, America needs to be, and I will give you this. America has not been debt free since Andrew Jackson in the 1830s. But then we went right back into debt and a financial crisis in around 1836, 1837. And we've never been out of debt since. You know, we talk about conservatism and what conservatism means. And it's a smaller government. It's a smaller budget. Well, it's a smaller governmental budget. It's deregulation. It's freeing up taxes and less taxes, so you have more money in your pocket. But I would say this, your greatest conservative president, Ronald Reagan, increased taxes all through the 80s. He deregulated, but he increased taxes, and in doing so, George Herbert Walker Bush had to raise taxes. This is in one of my other videos. You talk about smaller government, but George W. Bush put in the Homeland Security, which is another department in government. I just don't get it. And you got Republicans or conservatives saying, hey, gay marriage is bad for America. But Vice President Dick Cheney's daughter is homosexual, and I think she married her lover. It's okay for them, but not for you. It's bad for abortions to include rape and incest. But what would happen if your daughter was raped, or if your daughter was a victim of incest? Would you want to keep that child? See, it's conservatism for you, but not conservatism for me. And this is not America. Now, I've said this in videos before, that Donald Trump does say things that Americans want to hear. Some Americans feel like, hey, illegal immigrants are coming to this country, getting a lot of benefits, getting a lot of benefits. And in some cases, some immigrants come here and do better than Americans that are already here. And I'm not talking about the legal immigrants. I'm talking about the illegal immigrants, the guys that come over here illegally, and they get more tax breaks and more benefits than the average American struggling trying to become something. I get that. Some people feel that way. The man down the street is looking and saying, hey, I would like to do that roofing job, but you got Julio and Juan and Valdez doing that job, and I can't get a job, so I'm going to get mad at those guys because they have it and I don't. So some Americans feel like their country is not what it used to be, so they want to take it back. But I will tell you this, just like Obama said in the speech today, your family was once immigrants. Name one person here that is not an ancestry or is not descendant from an immigrant, except the Native Americans. We are all immigrants here. You know what? I would even go so far as to say that African Americans are not immigrants here. We were stolen and brought here. So, but every country, every facet of society, every race of people that's here immigrated. Your roots don't start here. How can you take a country back that never belonged to you in the first place? America is great. We have freedoms that no one else has in the world. But this is not right. This is not right. This what you're seeing is not right. This is not making America great. This is not bringing us together. This is tearing us apart. I understand that you're upset. I understand that you may want to make America great again. But you don't do it like this. And that goes for both sides of the spectrum. This goes for the people that supported Trump, and this goes for the people that don't support Trump. You do not do it this way. You do it in the ballot box. You vote. You speak out. You live your life. And you ensure that the people that you're responsible for live their lives the same way. You know, me and my house, I make sure that my kids are able to succeed. I don't feed them negativity. And I live my life the same way I would like for them to live theirs, because I don't want to say, do as I say, not as I do. So I hold myself to a standard that I want my kids to emulate. So it starts in the home. It starts with the parents. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Is this what the Republican Party has become? You know, now I will give you a small history lesson. It was Democrats who controlled the South. It was Democrats who brought in Jim Crow laws. It was Democrats who wanted separate but equal. You know, it was Democrats who were sort of like the de facto racist party. You know, now, you know, all the parties were in some shape or form racist, but it was the party of Lincoln, the Republican Party, which by the way, he founded, because up until then you had Whigs, Democratic Republicans, you had Federalists, you had all different kind of facets of parties that were trying to establish themselves. It was Abraham Lincoln that came back and tried to rebuild what republicanism was, and then thereby establishing the Republican Party. I'll also go back and say that Andrew Jackson founded the Democrat Party, and the reason why they have the donkey as a Democrat mascot is because they called Andrew Jackson a jackass. So he decided to make that the mascot of the Democrat Party. So, but it was Democrats who were kind of like the racist people that wanted to hold down immigrants and hold down Black Americans and hold down races other than who they were. And it was Republicans that were trying to disband Jim Crow. Now, I would say that Abraham Lincoln really didn't want to free the slaves, but you know, he took steps to help that along. And who knows what he would have done in his second term as president had he not been assassinated. But something happened around the turn of the 19th century. Something happened going into the 20th century. And I think I want to say, personally, I want to say that it was the Industrial Revolution, when the big cats, the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers started making a lot of money and started flooding politicians with money. I think around that time, and I could be wrong, but I think around that time is when Republicans started to side more with business. And because Democrats were very slowly losing their foothold in the South, Reconstruction, Reconstruction had a hold of the South. But I think right around the 1920s and 30s and 40s, there started to be a change in America. There started to be a radical change and a radical shift in America where, some Democrats, Lyndon B. Johnson, John F. Kennedy, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, these guys started to, push more inclusion into America. And the Democrat Party shifted to be the party of, in my opinion, the party of the everyman, the party of the people. Now, don't get me wrong, Republicans also were the party of the people. But it just feels like a different way. And this is what we have today. You have Republicans want smaller government. They want less regulation. But every time they do that, we get economic crashes. We get wars that were unpaid. The reason why the debt went up is not because of Obama put money into the system, which he did, but he actually put Afghanistan and Iraq wars on the books of America. Because before, when George W. Bush was in office, he never paid for the war. He never put it on the debt books. Obama came and said, "Hey, we gotta account for this money that we spent." That shot the debt up $2 trillion, and then some more stuff that brought it up higher. But is this how you want America to be? Donald Trump, is this the America that you want to make great? Is this the kind of America that we're going to see for the next 4 years if you make it to the White House? I don't think so. We are better than this. We can do better than this. The backlash is coming. Ted Cruz love it. Of course, he's the second guy to Donald Trump, so he's hoping that this is his October surprise, and I can explain October surprise as a presidential thing. In March, he's having his October surprise in March. So Super Tuesday for Ohio and Florida, which are take all delegate states, they come up this Tuesday. So I'm pretty sure Cruz is looking forward to this being something that can push him over the edge. At the same time, Rubio is hoping that this could help him win Florida. So that's the politics of it. They're gonna twist it and say, hey, look at what they're gonna side with the people now and say, hey, look at what Donald Trump is creating. Look at this mess that Donald Trump is creating. Is that what you want for 4 years? Vote for me. But I would surmise to say this: Cruz and Rubio are no different than what you see right now. Cruz and Rubio are a lighter version, or a politically correct version of Donald Trump. John Kasich is a moderate. The conservatism that they speak of and praise Ronald Reagan for, Ronald Reagan will not get elected president in today's Republican Party. Hell, Abraham Lincoln wouldn't be elected in this Republican Party. Those guys were moderates. They rode the fence on Democrat and Republicanism. They would not be elected in this party. They would get kicked out of their own party. This is not what conservatism is. This is not what making America great is all about. It's up to you. Yes, you. To get up and vote. We have the power. Right here. This is our power. The minute you walk into a ballot box, and I know they're electronic right now, but I've been doing mine by absentee ballot for the state of Alabama, but you have the power, and the power is right here. This thing can move mountains. This thing can build a country, a nation, and it can destroy one. Your vote this year can make or break this nation. What do you want to do? Do you want this? Now, picture this in 2008. This would be a same rally, but it would be a positive one for President Obama. Obama brought these kind of crowds. Twice or 3 times the amount of people that Donald Trump is bringing. But it was a positive atmosphere. You felt good. You wanted to stand up and be something and do something. This is not. And on top, I will give you this also. Donald Trump didn't even show up at this crap. So what does that tell you? Hey, this is the House of More Politics. Leave some comments, leave some posts, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys think. But hey, watch this station and watch the news because it's getting crazy. And I really mean it this time. Peace.